Alright guys, so today we're going to be working on solving one-step equations. This should be familiar to you. This is something that you've been doing since second grade. So for example, we could have 2 plus box equals 7. So we are trying to figure out what this box is. But now that we are in algebra, you're going to see it as this: 2 plus x is equal to 7. So don't get freaked out about the variable. This is just something that you've been using ever since second grade. So the one thing that I'm always going to harp on when it comes to solving equations with variables is to always do the opposite operation. So if you see an addition sign, remember that the opposite of addition is subtraction, and the opposite of subtraction is addition. Remember, with multiplication, the opposite of multiplication is division, and the opposite of division is multiplication. If you need to write these down in your notes, please feel free. So let's look at these two equations. I'll do the first one, first example, and then you will be able to try the second one. So let's look at what we have. We have x plus 2 is equal to 8. So remember what I just said, you're always going to be using the opposite operation. So if this is x plus 2, the opposite of addition is subtraction. So if think of it this way, we're trying to think of how many more do we have to add to 2 to get 8. One simple way to do it, the opposite of addition is subtraction. So what we could do, we could subtract 2 to both sides of the equation. So, and then we can solve down from the equation. So if we have a plus 2 and a minus 2, these cancel out. So from here, we work 8 minus 2, which is equal to 6. Then bring everything else down. So our answer, our final answer, is x is equal to 6. If we want to double check, all we have to do is take this 6 and plug it back up into the equation. So, is 6 plus 2, does that equal 8? Yes, it does. So, that answer is correct. So what I want you to do now is to pause the video, try the second one over here, and unpause the video when you're ready to see what I did. Alright, so we have x plus 9 is equal to 14. So remember, we have the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. So all we would have to do is subtract 9 to both sides. So if we have a plus 9 and a minus 9, these are basically going to cancel out, which leaves x on the left side. So, and on the right side we have 14 minus 9. So 14 minus 9 is equal to 5. So bring everything else down from the left side. We have x is equal to 5. X is equal to 5. So all we'd have to do is double check that. Plug in 5 in for x. So 5 plus 9 is equal to 14. Yes, it does. Mark that correct. So the one thing that I'm going to tell you to do, think of these as the variables, and as numbers as puppies and kitties. So if we have the equal sign, this is like a cage. So we want to move all of the numbers over to one side, and we're going to keep all the variables on the other side. So because we have x of the x are the puppies, the variables are puppies, numbers are kitties. We don't want to mix the puppies and the kitties because in my world they don't mix. So all we would have to do is move the numbers from one cage over to the other side. So that's why we are that's why we are subtracting 9 from the left side over to the right side. Alright, now we have y minus 4 is equal to 7. So remember, what's the opposite operation that we're going to do from subtraction. The opposite operation is addition. So what we're going to be doing, we are going to be moving this 4 over to the right side of the equation to keep it away from the y. So instead of subtracting 4, we're going to add 4 to both sides. So minus 4 and plus 4, those cross out, and all that we have left on the left side is the y. So now the answer that we have, 7 plus 4, is equal to 11. So our answer is going to be y is equal to 11. If you want to double check, all you have to do, take this 11, plug it into the y. So we have 11 minus 4, that equals to 7. So that is correct. So pause the video, try the next example for yourself, and then unpause the video when you want to see the way that I did it. Alright, so now we have 13 is equal to x minus 8. Don't get freaked out if the answer is over on the left side. If it helps you, you can rewrite this equation and make it x minus 8 is equal to 13. I think personally I think it's a lot easier if the answer is always on the right. So remember from our properties that we can all we would have to do is just move this 13 equals all the way over to the other side, which is what we have here. So now we have x minus 8 is equal to 13. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So we're going to move this minus 8 over to the right side. So by doing that, we have to add 8 to both sides. So the minus 8 and the plus 8, these cancel out. All we have left is x on the left. And then on the right side, we have 13 plus 8, and that is equal to 21. So our answer is going to be x is equal to 21. And to double check, if you want to, all you have to do is just take this 21, plug it into the x, or plug it into the x over here. So 21 minus 8, does that equal 13? Yes, it does. Now we're working with some multiplication. So here we have 3 times x is equal to 15, or this can be read as just 3x. So 3x is equal to 15. Remember, this is some multiplication right here, and what we're going to do, we always have to do the opposite of whatever operation we have here. So we are going to be doing some division. So what we would do to move this 3 over to the right side of the equation, we would divide by 3 on both sides. When we divide by 3, what is 3 divided by 3? That is basically 1. So we could either write it as 1x is equal to 15 divided by 3, but we don't have to have that 1 there, so we could just leave it as x. So x is equal to whatever 15 divided by 3 is. So 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5. So our answer is x is equal to 5. To double check, all we would have to do, take this 5, plug it back into our equation wherever x is. So 3 times 5, does that equal 15? Yes, it does. Now what I want you to do is to pause the video, try the equation over here to the right, 48 divided by 4a, or 48 is equal to 4a, and pause the video, try it, and then push the play button when you're ready to see the way that I did it. Alright, so the way that I like to see this, is to read it, is I always like to make sure that the answer is always on the right. So I'm just going to rewrite this real quick to where it is 4a is equal to 48. Just make sure that you copy it, that you rewrite it exactly the way that it's supposed to be read. So we have some multiplication. We have 4 times a, so we're going to have to do the opposite of multiplication, which of course is division. So we are going to divide this 4a we're going to divide it by 4. And whatever we do to the left side of the equation, we have to do to the right side. So then we have to do 48 divided by 4. So this 4, so the 4's cancel out, and all we have left is A. And then now we have 48 divided by 4. So 48 divided by 4 is 12. So our answer is going to be A is equal to 12. Now to double check, remember, all we have to do is take wherever we see A in the equation, all we have to do is take this 12, plug it right back up in there. So, is 4 times 12, does that equal 48? Yes, it does. Alright, now I know what you're thinking. I do not like fractions and I don't want to go over this. But it's so simple that I'll help to walk you through it. So, let's look at the first one. We have 2/3 times x is equal to 1/2. We're trying to figure out what x is. 2/3 times what is equal to 1/2? What we want to do is we want to get this x by itself. Because remember, if we have puppies and kitties, x's are the puppies, all the numbers are the kitties, so we need to move this 2/3 over to this 1/2. So, what we can do, we can multiply the reciprocal of 2/3. If we multiply the reciprocal of 2/3, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2, or 3/2. But if we multiply the left side, we always have to multiply the right side. So let's look back at the left side of what we did and solve for that. So if we have 3/2 times 2/3, if we multiply these together, the 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 divided by 6 is always equal to 1. So this right here, we have a 3 and a 3. These cancel out. The 2 and the 2, they cancel out. So all that we are left with in the left side of the equation is the x. That is how we cancel out this 2/3. So now we move over to the right side of the equation. Remember, with multiplication of fractions, all that we do is multiply straight across. So in the numerator, we have 1 times 3, which is equal to 3. Then 2 times 2 in the denominator, that is equal to 4. So the answer for 2/3 x is equal to 1/2 is x is equal to 3/4. So if you want to double check it, all you have to do is take this x, take 3/4 and plug it back into x. So let's try that. If we have 2/3 times 3/4. So if we multiply straight across, we have 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. And then we have 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. And what is 6/12 reduced down to? 1/2. So this 1/2 right here is the exact same as this 1/2 right here. So our answer is correct. Now, what I want you to do is to pause the video and try this one off to the right by yourself. But remember, how do we write 6 as a fraction? Alright, so now that you've unpaused the video and tried it, remember we have 3/5 times y is equal to 6. So, as we did over here to the left where you find the reciprocal, remember we're going to have to find the reciprocal of 3/5 as well. So the reciprocal of 3/5 is 5/3. So if we're multiplying by 5/3 off to the left, we also have to multiply 5/3 off on the right side of the equation. So these, so the two 5s, these cancel out, and the 3s cancel out. So that's where, so all that we have left on the left side of the equation is y. Now, let's multiply 6 times 5/3. One way that you can do it, remember, how do you write 6 as a fraction? Remember, any number can be written as 6 over 1. 6 over 1 is the exact same thing as 6. So, if we were wanting to multiply 6 over 1 times 5/3, all we would have to do is multiply straight across. 6 times 5, that's equal to 30. And 1 times 3 in the denominator, that's equal to 3. So what is 30 divided by 3? That answer is 10. So our answer is y is equal to 10. And again, if you want to double check it, all you would have to do is plug in this number 10 into where the y is. So if you want to write it as 3/5 times 10 over 1, 3 times 10 multiplied in the numerator is equal to 30. 5 times 1 multiplied in the denominator is 5. So what is 30 divided by 5? That answer is 6. So our answer of 6 here is the exact same as the answer of 6 up at the top. So these are the exact same. Our answer is correct. Now we're on to some division. Let's look at the first one. The first one that we have is x divided by 7 is equal to 5. Remember, since we have a division here, we're wanting to use the opposite operation of division. So the opposite operation of division is multiplication. So if we have x divided by 7, we are wanting to multiply by 7. If we multiply by 7 on the left side of the equation, we multiply by 7 on the right side of the equation. So these 7's cancel out, and all that you have left on the left side is x. So on the right side of the equation, we have 5 times 7. That's all that we have left. And 5 times 7 is 35. So the answer to our equation is x is equal to 35. Remember to double check. All you have to do is take this x is equal to 35. Wherever you see the x, take 35, plug it right back into the equation. So what is 35 divided by 7? That is equal to 5. So this x is equal to 35 is correct. Now what I want you to do, pause the video, try the equation off to the right where 12 is equal to x divided by negative 3. Remember, this is a negative 3. So a negative times a positive is always going to equal a negative. So pause the video and unpause the video when you're ready to see the way that I solved it. Alright, so the way that I like to solve it, I like to set it up where the answer is always on the right side. So we can always rewrite this to where x divided by negative 3 is equal to 12. So remember, we are doing some division. So I am going to want to do the opposite operation of division, which is multiplication. So if we have a negative 3 in the denominator, we're going to have to multiply by a negative 3. So if we multiply negative 3 on the left side of the equation, we have to multiply negative 3 on the right side of the equation. So if we go back to the left side, the negative 3's, those cancel out, and all that we have left is x. So x is equal to, now what do we have as 12 times negative 3? Remember, a negative times a positive. The answer is always going to be negative. Now 12 times 3, the answer is going to be 36. So our answer is x is equal to negative 36. All that we have to do is to double check. Wherever we see x in the equation, we plug in negative 36. So this negative 36 goes into this equation of x divided by negative 3. Now what is a negative divided by another negative? A negative divided by a negative is always going to be positive. So what is 36 divided by negative 3? That's equal to 12. So in this, our equation is correct.